This is take 12. Take 12. So, yeah, I am a bit wired up right now. I've been up this morning. I had to go drop off my kids and take my car to the mechanic, and the mechanic wasn't there, which was really weird. I've come to the point in my life where something is telling you that it may not be a good idea to go certain places or to go see somebody. At least that's what's been happening to me lately, and I've been listening to that voice a lot more, and that voice is for real. Like that little voice that tells you, "Hey, man, might not be a good idea right now." But it's funny though because all throughout the weekend I was thinking about this mechanic, and I was telling my wife that I was gonna go see him. I go today, and that little voice was telling me it may not be a good idea, and I really didn't know why exactly. I wasn't sure if it was going to be inconvenience, but I went to the mechanic shop. The mechanic wasn't there because he had to go see his doctor. Yeah, so I had to figure some things out on my own, and somehow whatever I did to my car, quote quote, fixed, quote quote, the problem. And I say that because I don't want to be too naive and let the problem prolong and it becomes something else down the road. So, anyways, let's talk about Urantia, and I really want to piggyback on what we had shared from last time, the Michael versus Lucifer. And I'm gonna make this a part two, because I really want to just kind of clarify things, and I also want to add in a little bit more. So to clarify things is, I'm not condoning, and I'm not promoting, nor am I encouraging you guys to go against the grain. Everything around us is 100% good. I think it's just human beings that find complexities and problems and issues with everything, and we are problem solvers. We want to go out and make something of ourselves, and fix some issues, find an issue. I don't know, it's just, and everybody comes in very different rays of colors and whatever, all that nice talk. Where am I going with this? So um I do rely a lot on the Jesus papers for my growth, spiritual food, insight, corrections, adjustments, every little progressive term that you can throw out there. That's how I define my reading with Jesus Christ. And that wasn't the case in the very beginning when I first got the book. When I got the book, it was more about getting to know the devil than me being interested in everything else that I thought I was. But eventually, everything that I had talked about, it would be like I'm on my third or fourth year having the physical book in my hand and talking to people about certain issues. Or maybe it was a lot sooner than that, because that sounds like a very long time. It just seems like I make it sound like I just put the book on the shelf. But at the same time, I don't read the book every day. I think that is fucking insane. Like, even Jesus said it. There's just no way. Well, Jesus didn't really said it, but I think it was either on paper 56, paper 156 or paper 157, where it's not the last thing that I left off, but it said that we're never going to understand the Father by reading the material. To understand the Father, you have to experience it. You have to go through life. And then another thing was added, was that God Jesus employed the word Father to help us kind of correlate that, or identify that relationship between us creatures and the Creator. And ultimately, God is everything. He is everything. He is. It even said it. It even says it in the Urantia book. God is way more than just a father. But as far as us on earth and what we know, what we had going on there like 2,000 years ago and before that, it was Jesus figured out. It was just the best way to reveal who the father was, is, and so you know what I mean. I'm sorry, I'm getting stuck right there. So instead of thinking about all the pretty words that I can come up with, I just simply want to tell you guys that I don't want to condone, encourage, or promote any negativity. But if you're going through something and you want the answers, try to be very careful where you go and get the answers. Don't try to listen to a lot of people and take their advices for granted. Like don't do what I did, which was look up to these old Urantia book readers and expect them to hand you down some answers. Now, don't get me wrong. I hate to kick down these people like they never done shit for me. I've had some good Urantia book readers who wanted to mentor me. I've had those, yes. There's a lot of sincere people in this community. There is. And it's the ones who focus on what the book says. Okay, and we may not agree on everything. I see different shades of yellow. Other people see different shades of blue. It's man, it's everything is so diversified that I think it's easy. It's better for me to just see how Jesus went about it. I could see that he wasn't trying to force anybody to follow the gospel. He wasn't even trying to force anybody to believe in God. He just asked. So I'm learning more information about this as we go along. And this wasn't because I read something and, oh shit, I gotta talk about this. It was something that I was already thinking about for months, for years. It's just that every once in a while, like if I'm dealing with something that I don't like, it upsets me, it presses my buttons, I'm like holding my fist up in the air and say, fuck, god damn it, And I just go down that emotional rabbit, that little spiral all the way down with all the thoughts and craziness, and I'm dragging people down with me, and I'm not doing anything to get myself out of it except for bitching and kicking. Not until I realized down the end that I was doing more damage than the damage itself. Like, does that make any sense? Like, I'm causing more damage than it is than there ever was in the beginning. So I'm trying to take more proactive steps. Jesus did say be slow to anger, be more patient, be more open minded, and it's helping me out. Like I have been using Jesus Christ as my mentor. The problem with me is that you're 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 making me read this fucking book, and I don't have the best focusing skills to read more than a page. Like if I could read a whole page and visualize everything while I'm reading, that to me is an accomplishment. I have not been diagnosed with ADHD, ADD, OCD, or whatever, but um, I recognize some of my flaws and I'm dealing with it and I'm coping with it. I've had people in the past telling me I need to play music in the background or burn some sage first or do some ritual, cut off a fucking chicken's head off, jerk off, and put like a pentagram on the floor before I read the Urantia book and all kinds of crazy shit. I'm like, oh, that does sound really good, right? So, how much does it cost? Really? All right, all right. Can you throw in a midget? Yeah, I want the midget. No midget? Just throwing a blow up sex doll. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Anyways, so hey, um, but in between the struggle the struggle between Lucifer and Michael has helped me understand that there is way more truth to this. There was a little part in the Urantia book that said that us here on Urantia, when we move forward towards Havana, with all the experience that we get down here, we might end up being more wiser than the sons of light. And when Jesus said that, I was like, okay. See, and that's the thing. It's like, is all this by design? Was all this by purpose? Like, I wish I knew what life would have been if Adam and Eve didn't make that big mistake. I would imagine what it'd be like if Jesus decided to stay on earth a little bit longer. But that's not what happened. And I don't have a time machine. I don't have a picture. I don't have a clue of what or how things looked like back then. I could just go by what the book tells me, and I hope that it's telling me the truth. For the first couple of years, I can admit that I have been seeing things from Lucifer's point of view, and because I have developed that nature, it's no stranger to me that it comes up every now and then. Sort of like it's like developing a bad habit every now. You develop a bad habit, you do it for years. It just becomes part of you. You normalize it. You bitch and complain. You go against the grain, and then, you know, when you trying to change your ways, those old habits tend to come back up. So why am I even explaining this? Because that's what I'm going through. If so, some of y'all still gonna chime in to my comments and say what you're gonna say. Which I still to this day I welcome it. I don't care. Say whatever you want. I encourage you to say whatever you want or whatever you have in your heart. Um, if I truly believe what the Urantia book is telling me is 100% true, then I can only tell you this. I can see where I could see where Lucifer was coming from. I can see how the other celestial personalities followed behind him. Um, I can sit here in the middle and ask questions like, why do we need to believe in just one source? But I also have to I have to take in consideration the information that was given to me not only through Jesus but in this Urantia book. We have an eternity. We have a very long time ahead of us to be given chance after chance after chance to see the light, to see more revelation, to understand things a little bit better. That even towards the end or at some point during your career, if you decide not to be part of this plan, then they'll decide to just get rid of you, basically, like as if you never were. So that's kind of scary. But then again, I could see how some people are actually brave, and I shouldn't even say that because again, I don't want to condone or promote any negativity on here. But so whatever I was gonna say, let's just pretend like I had a brain fart. So yeah, I'm gonna read my Urantia book today. I'm starting off at I'm picking up at paper 158. And in the Old Testament, which is in my second part of the book, I'm reading, I think I'm picking up on paper 58. So, no, 57. Or is it 58? I don't know, man. I don't know. Don't ever ask an elephant if he remembers anything. That's just my advice. All right, guys. Take care. Peace. Bye.